What's going on, my people? Let's break down the one power, how to wield, how to use the one power. Today, brothers and sisters, it's very, very important that you over and understand that we all have access to source code. There's a code that's based upon source. I call it source code. Many different names, many different realities. Why? There's many different people. There's only one frequency, one wave, and one vibration. Just like I talk about all the time, whether we're talking about cosmology, theology, or biology, they all are based upon the manipulation of the one. The one power that we all have is inside of three expressions, 3 and 1. That's where we get the Trinity from. 3, 3. The ability to understand how to wield, use these 3 attributes and characteristics that give us this power. This power is God, it's source, it's the universe. First power that we have is the power of observation. We've got to define what that means. The second attribute and characteristic is that we have is the power to feel, the power to assign feelings. My feelings are valid. So are yours. But there are some frequencies, some waves, some verbs, and some vibrations who believe that their feelings trump yours, that their feelings are in some kind of way more valid. Their life experiences is more powerful and is more valid than your life experiences. So therefore, your life experiences are trumped by somebody else's life experiences, for lack of a better term. Then the last thing is this ability for us to take action, to create or not take action. So it's the process of observation, the process of assigning meaning, and then the process, again, of taking action or create. See, God is a creator. So therefore, we made in the image and likeness of God. We are ambassadors. We're like little G's. So as a little G, I'm not saying that you're the big G. I'm just saying that you have the attributes and characteristics, just like the Bible says. You will find that all of these statements that I make and have made and will continue to make are all biblically correct. They align with the biblical narrative. So it's very, very important that why do we have one narrative and 118 different denominations or religions? It's because there's only one absolute morality or one truth. But that one truth is interpreted. That one truth is divided into many different frequencies, waves and verbs and vibrations. What's up, Brother Mwanga? What's going on, my brother? And so once we get to this level of awareness, it takes out all the spookism. So these 3, again, my organization, the group that I talk about, it's like the 3 types of the Gnostics believe that there were 3 types of people, according to the Gnostics. So the Gnostics believe that there was a group of people called the pneumatics. There was another group of people that were called the psychics. And then the last group of people were called the hierarchs. So the pneumatics, there were the psychics, and there were the I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, the hierarchs. And according to the Gnosticism, which again, if I had to categorize myself, I would put myself in that book inside of let's use the word Ethiopian Gnostic, a African Gnostic, somebody who taps into cosmology, theology, and biology from a esoteric perspective, using etymology. So I'm an etymologist. So as an etymologist, I noticed that everybody has this power, but a lot of people don't know how to use this power of observation. Number 1, I can look around, I can observe. Then the second thing that I can do is after I observe, I feel something based upon what I observed. Those feelings that I have, those are mine. But I either accept somebody else's definition, Noah Webster, a reverend, a doctor, a bishop, or a master teacher 33, or I create my own definitions. And then based upon what I saw, what I feel, I take action, or I go sit on the sofa and I watch TV. So not taking action is an action. Not making a decision is a decision. So what I want you to do is to think about how you come to your observation skills. As someone who was in the military, in the Marines, law enforcement, in corrections, code enforcement, loss prevention, everything that dealing with the enforcement of rules and regulations, observation, that determines whether or not you went home every night. If you don't have observation skills, in my line of work, your ass is in trouble. You're a dead man walking. In other words, where I'm from, you have to be able to see what's going to happen before it happens. You got to be able to predict. So observation, the ability for you to be able to observe. Observation, number one. Now, there's many different types of observation. We want to keep this basic today. But I want to assist you with understanding that you got this power, but you're not using this power to basically expand your consciousness and your awareness, so that way you can elevate your consciousness from, let's say, a hireling to a psychic, and from a psychic to a pneumatic, according to the Gnostics, or according to the biblical text, a non-believer to a believer, according to, again, self-help, ascension, where you want to ascend. In other words, what does all this mean? That simply means that you living on a level where you can see the world. In other words, nothing can come upon you and surprise you. Every obstacle, you're able to solve it, or you're able to come to terms with it and live with it. Peace is the foundation of higher elevation. Not the peace that the world gives, but the peace that comes from being the vibrational equivalent of God. So heaven on earth, bam, boom. That's the end game. So the end game for me, I don't know what everybody else is doing, but what I'm doing is heaven on earth. Now, earth is the body. Heaven is, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm wise, I get my toes curled. That's heaven. Heaven is a high vibrational mental state that in the midst of adversity, you chilling like a lizard on a hot rock in Texas. That's heaven on earth. See, heaven is a high vibrational mindset. Heaven is the ability to understand that all things work together for your good while they ain't working. It's easy to make those statements, right, Brother Mwango, when things are going great. But heaven is observation. Observation, again, is categorized by this ability to be able to see the field. The ability to be able to see what is real. That's observation. So when we're talking about observation, we're talking about this unrestricted, the ability to, let's use the word, remove the blinders, the ability to be able to see something without any type of obstruction. So the ability to observe. When we talk about observe, again, we are the observer. Now, according to physics, according to quantum physics, the double slit experiment, they say the observer, that's me and you, we determine what is observed. Man, that's deep. The observer determines what is observed. The observer. So it's interesting because the Bible talks about the watchers. The Bible and then the book of Enoch talk about the watchers. The Nag Hammadi text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they all talk about the watchers. And they were supposed to just watch. Because watching collapses waves in the particles. Ooh. But the observer collapses waves based upon the observer's definitions. That's number two. Remember, there's only three attributes and characteristics of the one. 3 in 1. That's where we get the Trinity from. 3 in 1. You have access. You use these 3 powers every day. You observe something. You assign meaning to something. And based upon what you observe, then based upon the meaning, you're going to create something. So the reality that you are living in right now is based upon the definitions that you've assigned, usually unknowingly. So 99.99999% of the Alkibelans that I talk to, they are assigning meaning to something unknowingly. Remember that, who was it? I forgot what it, who made the statement that, until we make the unknown known, we go through life calling what's happening in our life fate. We believe that there is a reverend doctor or a bishop. We believe that there's a God somewhere outside of us that is controlling what's going on around us. We don't know that we are co-creators, that this is a participatory reality. You participate, whether you know that or not. And so 99.9% of the folk, they don't know how they participate. So in 2026, what I'm doing is helping people see how they participate. What are you doing to create your own reality? Or what are you not doing to create your own reality? So the observer effect. Number one, the observer. You are the observer. So as an observer and a observer, what you're doing is you're showing up to the marketplace, your life, and you have a set. So who determines what you can observe? Who determines what you pay attention to? So everything on this world is everybody's fighting for your attention. Like when you woke up this morning, there's the news, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, somebody texting you, somebody calling you, you got your boo-boo, you got whoever in your life, you got your family, your friends, you got your little shearings, whatever's going on in your life, people are fighting for your time and for your attention. So you get to boom, boom, boom. You get to assign, you get to watch, you get to notice, you get to direct your attention. But notice the emphasis on the word you. Who is choosing to collapse the wave? You. You get to choose what you watch. Somebody can call you, but do you got the answer? Absolutely not. Do you have to get on social media? Absolutely not. Do you have to watch TikTok? Absolutely not. So we do things that we do. Why do we do those things? Well, we have something that's called a belief system. So we are setting levels of importance. So energy flows where attention goes, and attention goes where energy flows. Follow the money. That just simply means we believe that this is important to us. So since it's important to us, we're going to do what? Assign meaning to it. We're going to put our energy into it. We're going to put our money into it. We're going to look at it. So the observer, again, is just something or someone. It's something or someone that observes. Observes means that you literally are going to look at something. So it's a person that maintains observation. There's that word observation again. Observation, observer, that is the act or the instance. Again, look at dictionary.com of noticing something. It is the act or the instance of paying attention to something, watching something. It's this ability for you to notice something. That's what it means. So number one, we all observe. We have that power to observe. Your job is to do it consciously. So most of us, we observe things, but we do it unconsciously. We're not really participating in our observation. We just do it automatically. So your job is to consciously choose what you want to observe. So we don't want to observe things that we don't want to manifest. So we don't want to observe things that we don't want to manifest. We don't want to observe things that we don't want to manifest. Why would you observe? Why would you look at something? Why would you watch something if you don't want more of it? So remember, whatever you observe, you're gonna get more of that, whatever it is. So if I know that I'm participating in creating the reality that I live in, I want to participate in creating a reality that I like. I want to create a reality of wealth. I want to create a reality of health. I want to create a reality of wisdom and great relationships. So as a observer, I'm going to observe I'm going to notice the things that I want, and the things that I don't want, I'm going to ignore. So number one, when it comes to using this power, we want to be able to ignore the things that we're not interested in. So the word ignore simply means that, you know what? I'm going to refuse to take notice of it. I'm going to refuse to acknowledge it. I'm going to intentionally disregard it. So to be successful, to help mold and create your reality, to change wherever you're at, if you want to go somewhere else, you got the power to do that. How do you do it? Number one, the observer determines what is observed. So you choose to only observe the things that you like, and you choose to ignore the people, the places, and the things that you don't like because they don't take you. They don't make you feel. So if you're around certain people and they always make you feel like you're worthless, remember, you order stuff with your nervous system. You order with your parasympathetic nervous system. You order based on how you feel, not how you think. Feelings trump thinking because thinking creates feelings. Number one, thinking, which is the same thing as observing. But when you observe, the only thing you're doing is you're noticing what you're thinking. And I can tell what you're thinking by how you're feeling because your feelings come from your thinking. And so Brother Bwanga just posted power of concentration. Bam. I call that focus. And so we have that power. Notice that we got the power. The one power. There's only one power. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. What is the one power? The one power is divided up into three powers. The ability to observe, the ability to assign meaning and create feelings based upon what we just observed. And then based upon what we just observed that created these feelings, we're going to manifest that reality based upon what we observe and what we feel. Then we create. So I don't like what I'm creating. If you don't like what you're creating, stop feeling it. If you don't like what you're feeling, stop observing it. If you don't like what you're observing, change what you observe. Change what you think. So how do you change what you think? How do you change what you observe? You got to become aware of what you're thinking. You got to become aware of what you're observing. Most of us go through life and we just stay in a funk. By the time we realize it, 3-4 hours will go by, and then you're like, damn, why am I feeling angry? Why am I upset? So most people, they allow themselves to stay in a low vibrational feeling state too long. Because you fail to consider the significance of staying in a low vibrational feeling state. Notice I didn't say that the feelings are not real. Something bad could have just happened to you. Do you have the right to feel? Absolutely. The biggest mistake that most people make is feeling guilty about their feelings. Your feelings are valid because your feelings come from the way that you think. Now, you can reassign how you feel. But this is rough. This is where I lose a lot of people when it comes to behavioral modification. Because remember, you have a current habit pattern. Then there is a desired habit pattern. So there's a war going on between the current habit pattern, the current pattern, the current algorithm. If whatever's happening in your life currently you like, boo-boo, don't change nothing. But if something is happening that's creating a feeling that's causing an action, and you don't want to take that action anymore, you got to deal with those feelings. But to deal with those feelings, you got to deal with those thoughts. But to deal with those thoughts, you got to be conscious of those thoughts. To be conscious of those thoughts, you got to understand why. See, the why determines how high you fly. I was responding to a family member's post concerning a specific topic. And I was explaining to the individual why. Most people are not in the mental space to address why. As somebody from my background, especially in law enforcement, in corrections, even when I got out and got into insurance, it's the same thing. So there's a reason why. Why would you insure? Why would you protect someone from risk? So there's a possibility that something hasn't even happened yet. But there is a risk reward. So insurance, when you get auto insurance, you're protecting yourself from the possibility of risk. The greater the possibility that something might happen, it's like life insurance. Life insurance, people purchase life insurance because of what? Eventually, life is going to run out. And so you purchase life insurance to basically benefit the people that you leave behind. Auto insurance, in case someone totals your automobile or you total your automobile, you can get some funding to replace the automobile. Homeowners insurance. So insurance is something that we do because of the possibility. We want to mitigate risk. Well, life is no difference. Just like insurance, you purchase insurance to mitigate risk. You learn the universal spiritual laws to mitigate risk. What I've just shared with you today helps you to mitigate risk, helps you to mitigate loss, help you to mitigate, help you to remove, to lessen the damage by understanding the three inside of the one. There's only one law. Israel, one. Hero Israel, the Lord your God is one. God gave you the power to be a little version of him or her itself. And the way that you use the one power is through observation, through assigning meaning, and through taking action. Everybody on this on this plane, or this plan, this is a plan to put you in the net. That's why it's called a planet. So this planet is controlled by government. Someone is governing your mentals. And then they want to control. They want to control. A troll is a large, clumsy demon or disposition. So I want to swindle you so that way you carry yourself as a clumsy disposition. You have a loose grip on reality. So you cannot practice conscious observation, number one. The power of observation is yours. Nobody can force you. Now, the dominant culture is dominant because they control what you can by assigning the definitions. So whoever controls your language controls you. Whoever determines your meaning of the terms that you use determines the life that you live, because words create worlds. So if I can give you the wrong word, you will create the wrong world for yourself. So your job is to expand your words, to put your words in a particular order, to provoke and invoke a particular response. That's your job. You have to understand that life and death is in the power of the tongue. That's your job. Your job is to understand that in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word became flesh, and the Word. We know that worlds were framed by the Word. So life and death is in the power of the words that you use. Abracadabra, I create what I speak. That's observation. So you got to observe, you got to watch. You got to bring every thought into captivity. You just can't go around having idle chatter, because you bring about what you think about. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So when you understand that we have this power, you've been given this power. You have the power to trample on snakes and scorpions, and all power of the enemy, all power of the enemy, all power of the enemy is subject to you. When you're walking in clarity, of the one power that gives you certainty that you have observation skills. Those observation skills give you the ability to change the definitions of the words that you're using to fit the life or the reality that you want to create. So when you understand that, whoa, I got the power. It's not in the reverend, the doctor, or the bishop. I don't need to consult with a medium. I don't need no curandero. I just need to over and understand. Let this mind be in you. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So most people suffer because they don't wield the one power. And the one power is life and death is in the power of the tongue. I create what I speak. The ability to control my mindset. The ability to walk. And when you pray, pray as if you've already received the thing that you pray for, and you will have it. Ask, believing. So that acronym, ASK, A-S-K, ask, seek, knock. And what happens? It's yours. What does that mean, though? That simply means that you can influence your reality with your mentality. Everybody's reality is valid. Could you imagine if we all respected each other's reality, as long as your reality doesn't influence upon mine? The moment you try to force your reality on the mind, then that's when we have a problem. Because if your reality is working for you, boo-boo, do you. As long as you're not hurting, harming, and defrauding someone else's. So the problem is when somebody believes. Notice that word belief. That's step 2. A belief is a meaning that you've assigned to a specific event. Notice who assigned the meaning. Even if you adopt a previously determined definition, you still got to accept it. So you do not have to accept the meaning of death. You could do what the Bible says. Death, where is your sting? Grave, where is your victory? You could change the meaning of death. What does it mean to you? It means that somebody is transitioning to a better place. You could adopt that definition of death right now. And when it happens in your life or somebody else's life, your feelings will be totally different than everybody else's. But people are not going to like you. I know because I already did it. I changed the definitions of the words so that way those words, those events, those situations don't make me feel ashamed. Don't make me feel guilty. Don't make me feel confused. Don't make me feel lost. All things work together for my good. Great is he that said, I adopted a new mindset. Let this mind be in you. Be ye transformed by a renewing of your mind. So when you renew your mind, that's how you shine. I'm not saying that life is not going to be a bed of roses, because you're going against all of reality. So yeah, it actually makes your life harder. It doesn't make it easier. But you now have a mental disposition that allows you to override negative habit patterns. That's what I call whole brain thinking, or clitonomics. So clitonomics is the household management of the soul. So let me make sure you understand how this process works. First thing is something happens to you. Okay? Is it good or is it bad? Who says it's good? Who says it's bad? Who? You do. No, Doc, I don't. They. Who are they? So the dominant culture says it's bad. That's simply everybody says that this is a bad event. If it's bad weather. So bad weather to me is good weather to the farmer. So I can say, if it's raining and I got a picnic planned outside, I'm disappointed because it's raining. But the farmer somewhere has been praying and hoping for rain. Why? He got a crop. That crop needs the rain. I'm over here pissed off because my party that I had planned outdoors, I got to cancel it now because it's raining. That is a bad event. Rain, bad. But to the farmer, rain, good. Interpretations, as my brother Dr. Mwanga just said, it's very, very imperative that we over and understand that we interpret our reality based upon our mentality. No two people interpret reality the same. And one person's interpretation of reality doesn't trump another person's interpretation of reality. Could you imagine if we live in a world where everybody could interpret reality as long as you are not hurting and harming someone else with your interpretation? That's the problem. The problem is we get into, like, some religions. In some religious culture, you can do certain things to certain people in the name of God. Because God said it. You can go rape, you can go kill, you can go maim. Why? Because they interpret it. So, who wrote it? Well, somebody believes. So, let's take Joseph Smith. Think about it for a moment. Look at all the major world religions. Like, who founded? Who started? Like, have you ever thought about, like, how did that happen? What are the founders of major, world religions? They all had a experience. What type of experience? Well, I've had experiences. Have you had any experiences? Everybody has had different experiences. Does my experience with God trump your experience with God? See, it gets dangerous. So the Abrahamic religions, which comes from Abraham, right? We look at the biblical narrative from Abraham. Moses. We can go into Joseph Smith. We can get into, like, when we talk about all of the major, like, Christian religions. And when we look at how each and every one of them were started, especially Mormonism, it's very, very, very interesting. What about Scientology? Everybody has or have had some type of experience. But when your experience is more significant than somebody else's experience, bam, that's when we get into trouble. We get into trouble when one person says, hey, what I believe trumps what you believe. Maybe it does. But everybody has free will. In other words, we all have or should have the right to establish our own belief system. That's what free will means. That's what freedom really is. But for most people, that's not correct. For most people, we believe that our belief system trumps everybody else's belief system. And we have investigated it to a certain level of degree. And the way that, especially if you look at it from a neuroscience perspective, your brain, your reticular activating system, will draw to you things that validate you. It's not bad, not good, just is. Your job is to be aware of it, awareness. The number one goal on earth is to expand your awareness. I didn't say change it, I said expand it. Because expansion leads to overstanding. So when I understand why, this is why is so important. So when I was in law enforcement, I understood. I get to a crime and I could see somebody just got murdered. Get to the crime scene, there's a woman standing there, for example. She has a gun in her hand, she just shot her husband. Okay? The first question for me, I see the crime. Why? Because maybe the woman shot her husband in self-defense. Why? See, most people don't ask why. They just look at what. The biggest mistake that you can make in your life is to live your life from the perspective of what. And you look at what happens, what, and you never ask why. Why did that happen? Why are you living the life that you're living? Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you eat what you eat? Why do you wear what you wear? Why do you read what you read? Why do you drive what you drive? Why do you live where you live? Why? Most people I talk to, they've never sat down and they asked themselves why. They've never examined the nature of their reality. They just accept their reality. And they don't know that their reality is based upon their accepted mentality. When you get to this level of awareness, you understand that your reality is being influenced by your mentality. And if you want to change your reality, you first must change your mentality. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you renew your mind, you're guaranteed to shine. Now, it ain't going to happen overnight, but you have that power to renew your mind. You have the power to call those things that are not as though they were. This is a participatory relationship with your reality. This is a participatory religion, if you want to use that term. This is a participatory. You get to participate with the Most High. You get to participate with the universe. You get to participate because you get to collapse the wave. You get to collapse. The observer determines what is observed. You are the observer. You also assign meaning to what you observe. You also create feelings based upon the observation, based upon what you observe. And based upon what you observe, based upon your feelings, based upon your observation, you're going to take action. Or you ain't going to do nothing. But you're going to make all of those decisions. No decision is a decision. Right, Sister Pam? What's going on, Sister Pam? How you been? It's important that we over and understand that we, number one, observe. That we, number two, I'm going to assign meaning to what I observe. I'm going to look at this. I'm observing this. What is this? I decide that this is a cup. Now, this has been previously determined to be a cup. So I'm going to agree with a previously determined definition. I could reassign this cup and I could call it a book. But everybody else, when they see this, they go, hey, Doc, that's a nice cup. I'm saying, no, this is not a cup, bro. This is a book. Well, then the collective consciousness is going to override my individual consciousness. Everybody else in the world says this is a cup. I'm the only one that says this is a book. Then somebody going to come along and they're going to say, hey, Doc, this is a book, brother. This is a cup. You have been misinformed. You have a misinterpretation. So then I have a conundrum. Now I got cognitive dissonance. Somebody's presenting me new facts that say this is not a book. A book is a bunch of pages that have been bound together that you can read. A cup is something that holds liquid inside of it. You can't put liquid inside of a book, but you can put liquid inside of a cup and you can drink out of it. So this is my coffee cup. I got coffee in this cup. I can't put coffee. So if somebody presents me with some facts, Brother Mwanga, I'm going to change my belief system. And I'm going to say, no, this is not a book. Based upon overwhelming evidence. Somebody presented me with some new evidence to say, I never saw this before. I never knew that a book was paper that had letters on it that I could read until somebody shows this to me and say that the whole world believes that this is a book. I can either accept that meaning. And I can change my meaning to match the meaning of the collective consciousness. Or I can continue to say, this is a book. I refuse to accept this is a book. This is not a cup. This is a book. I have that right. And everybody can call me crazy. But I have free will to assign meaning. It may be incorrect. That's what's going on today. What's going on today is people are assigning meaning. They are changing definitions to fit their own narratives. It ain't right. It ain't wrong, but that's what people are doing. We could say that it is okay, like in some countries, for a grown man, 40, 50 years old, to marry a 14-year-old girl. There are some places in the world, as we speak, who say that that is normal. For someone to change or assign or define meaning. You're supposed to define the meanings based upon the words and the definitions that you're using. And you can look at previously determined, previously defined words and see if you want to assimilate and if you want to accept those words. If you do, that's great. But at least do number one. Do your due diligence. Do your own research. And when you do your own research, look at the etymology of those words and you will end up like me. You will find that the terms and the words that people are using, you want to redefine them because you've done etymology. And you found out that that word doesn't mean originally what it does now. Someone changed the definition of those terms. And maybe you decide to do like I do. You want to go back to the original meaning of the word at the time that it was written by the individual who created the word. And then when you do that, you're going to meet some pushback. Because everybody else say, hey, no, brother, that word means this. And you go back and you do some research and you say, hey, that word can't mean that. Somebody changed it. The Council of Nicaea, they changed words. Because before that, those words meant something else. And then they rechanged it. And then they gave it to everybody else. So my brothers and my sisters, the point of today's message is you have the ability to influence your reality with your mentality. By you making sure that, number one, you got the power to observe. What you observe, you have the power to assign meaning. What you observe and assign meaning to, that influence the actions that you take or don't take. If you need more assistance, you already know what to do. Hit the website, Master Teacher 33. Check out the Life Management System. Make sure that you also have your Deal Deal and now the new upgraded Destiny Report. Pick up one of my 1,000 books. I've written and published over 1,000 books. And I'm still pumping them out as we speak. I love you, Brother Mwanga. Appreciate you, my brother, Sister Sandra. Thank you for stopping in. I'm going to see everybody at the top. God bless.